Great. Hey, we're here with on Art Now and here with Glendora Folsom Buell. And I think this is the 7th episode now of a chat with Glendora via Art Now and here. What episode is this for the Glendora Broadcasting Network?
2,233, honey?
I think it's 33, yeah.
33. 4,233.
14,200.
Oh, excuse me. Let me start over again, folks. 14,233. Yes. And we're in it for our 53rd year, folks. And we're...
For the people that don't know, Glennie, give them a little background of how you started in television and how you ended up on public access.
Well, I started in television when it started in 1953. Back in those days, you don't remember, folks, but we had Milton Berle and we had your shows. Did you ever read about those, Drew?
I remember Uncle Milty.
How about Sid Caesar and Imogene Coca?
You know, Sid Caesar was maybe a little before my time. I grew up watching Howdy Doody, though.
How about John Cameron Swayze?
I remember watching Mike Wallace used to host a show called Biography. I remember watching that as a kid in elementary school.
Well, anyway, that's when I started out, when television itself started out. And everything was black and white, dear. And the cameras were huge. They were like 3 feet by 3 feet by 3 feet. And let me show you folks the size of a camera today. Look at this. See that? And it has no tape. And of course, we had no tape here, Drew, until 1962. Did you know that?
Right.
We didn't have tape. It didn't start until 12 years after we were. And of course, color. Color was way behind that. All right, what did you want to know? That's how it started out in Pittsfield, Massachusetts. Glendora and her picture party. And then it was SS Glendora on Manchester, New Hampshire, Drew. And then it was SS Glendora on WBZ TV, Channel 4, Boston. And it was sponsored by Milton Bradley because it was a children's show. And then, folks, it went to WRGB General Electric in Albany, Schenectady, and Truss. And that would be from the year 1953 to 1962. Now, Cablevision did not come along, folks, until 10 years later in 1971. Are you surprised at all those years?
And then you were also Satellite 6. That's one of my favorite Glendora shows.
Did you get it way down there, honey?
No, we didn't get it, but I've seen a lot of stills of you on the set, and I love it. It's great.
Yeah, it was television at its best. We gave the youngsters a code as to being polite and being honest and not lying and not cheating. And we told them all good things to be.
And you were showing cartoons on that show, too.
Yeah, and we had plenty of jokes, Drew. Plenty of jokes, and a lot of funny things happened. And the children were all dressed up in uniforms.
The mateys.
Yes, they were mateys. They had hats on. They had worn tie and a white shirt, and they had epaulets on their shoulder. Yeah.
All hands on deck, full steam ahead.
Man your stations. Man your stations. Well, I think our engine blew a few times through. I think we lost our engine.
TV Gremlins back in the day.
And that's it, folks. It was highly sponsored. There were 9 commercials every 45 minutes. Bosco and Coco Marsh. You remember all those, Drew?
Yeah, and I've seen some pictures of you making personal appearances out at different retail establishments.
Yes, that's right. Oh, yes, it was commercialism at its highest. Yeah.
People still get a kick out of seeing somebody who's on television.
Yeah, oh, definitely. Definitely.
Yeah, veganism is a subject we've talked about in the past, and something that you advocate.
The stores now have more vegan products than animal products.
Right. I really like the black bean based like veggie burger. It fries up
Yes,
pretty good, and I've been eating
very good.
those.
Yes, it's very, very good and very high in protein. You know, of course, that plants have more protein than meat.
Yeah.
Uh,
And
Soybean has more protein. Beans has the thing that you're eating has more protein than meat. And
right.
another thing, Drew, is that when you eat plants, you're getting your protein firsthand instead of secondhand from an animal.
And not the and none of the animal fats.
There you are, no cholesterol. There's no cholesterol in plants.
I've been feeling a lot better in the last couple months since I've switched to more of a vegetarian diet, eating a lot of salads, and like I said, I love those
Good,
veggie burgers.
good testimony, very good testimony.
How are you about fish? Do you eat fish?
No, no animal products at all here.
And
No
you don't
honey, no honey
dairy?
because, yeah. No, oh no, no dairy. A little boy and his sister were watching a video about the birth of Christ, and the little boy said to his sister, what is a virgin?" And the little girl said, "A virgin is a woman who eats all of her vegetables."
Yeah, that's
Wouldn't that be a vegetarian?
a vegetarian.
A vegetarian.
Vegetarian. That's very good, Drew.
So you
Now,
last
what
time I was talking to you, Glendora, you had the two cars in the garage, and one of them had gotten picked up. Are they both picked up now?
Yes. The 1993 was gone the last time we talked. Well, about a month later, he sent a flatbed, honey, to pick up the 1980. What do you think that cost? And he took it to Rochester. What do you think a bill on that would be?
It's got to be at least 1,500.
No, really, Drew?
I don't know. Was it less than that?
Well, I don't know, honey.
I heard somebody. It's funny you mentioned that because just a couple of days ago, I heard somebody talking about what it was cost to ship a car from Los Angeles to New York, and they were talking about it
Wow.
was going to cost $7,500. So
Really?
yeah, I'm just guessing
Yeah.
from you to Rochester, that's got to be 1,000 at least.
Well, it's 235 miles.
Yeah. I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know the answer to that.
Yeah, it must cost an awful lot.
That's a great old land yacht. That's one of the great old battleships of the American road.
Yes, it was a 1980 Lincoln Continental Mark VI. And that was the 2 years that Ford did that, and then they split them all up. They stopped making the Continental, and then they made the Mark VII.
I bet you had a lot of fun with that car, Glendora.
Oh, it was a beauty. It had premium sound. The upholstery was a couple of inches thick. It had an estimated time of arrival. You could put in what time you're leaving, and it would tell you when you're going to arrive there at the rate that you're going. Oh, it was the last word in luxury.
Yeah.
In fact, it was so luxurious that Ford couldn't afford to put it out anymore.
Those cars were great too because it was the seats were like having like a living room couch on wheels.
Yes, they were. They were velour. Yes, they were.
And
And
pretty
they
much
only made them
pretty much
two
power
colors.
everything.
They had only two colors, honey, silver and maroon. And mine was a signature series, which was the top of the line. Would you want to know what it cost?
when you
Let me
first
see if
bought it, let me take a guess at that. When you bought that, it was less than 14,000, I'd say. Let me go with 12,000. It was 12,000 in 1980?
18, honey.
18,000, okay.
What? 18.
Okay. Yeah, that, I mean, that in today's dollars, I don't know, what's that, about $70,000 probably.
Is that what it is?
Wow.
Something like that. I bet that's about $70,000 American in 2023. It
So
was
I
a lot of
paid
car
cash.
though. I mean, it was just for the money. It was just a lot of car. Those cars were well built.
Oh, very well built. As I say, 4,000 pounds. This hood was huge. I could hardly lift the hood myself. Drew, I paid $18,000 cash for it, folks. And we drove it home. We put it in the garage, and the next morning it wouldn't start.
Well,
I'll tell
that's
you
why
why.
they have warranties, I guess.
I'll tell you why, honey. It was the year of the opera window, and they had a light at the opera window. And we didn't know it. That light was left on all night, and that drained the battery.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about there, the opera window.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Opera window.
What'd you say, Amy?
What's the opera window? I don't think I've ever.
Explain it to her, Drew. The opera window.
Well, you had a lot of interior lights, and in the opera window was like in the back seat passenger side, I think, right?
Yeah.
And they-
Oh, yeah. Well, both sides, honey.
Yeah, those cars
Well,
had all
Amy-
sorts of features in the back of the car too. Not like today. The back of the car would have its own cigarette lighter and it had its own little vanity mirror.
Had its own ashtray.
Yeah.
Amy, if you were sitting in the back of the seat, right,
Uh-huh.
where your head would come
Uh-huh.
was where the opera window was, and it was oval,
Right.
Really?
and it had the Lincoln signature on the Lincoln trademark on it.
Yeah, those were great old cars, and I had a '68 Buick Electra, and it was one
Oh,
of those
there's
cars of
a
that
nice-
vintage. They
Oh,
were
there's
built.
a nice.
Yeah, there were some great
You
old cars.
remember the Buick Sabre?
Yeah, the LeSabre was more like a mid-size car. Yeah, the Lincolns, those Lincolns though, they never passed by a gas station too often. They had to pull in and make friends with the gas station attendants too.
Well, honey, the 1979 got about 8 miles per gallon, but the 1980 they changed all that. We got 20 miles per gallon. That was pretty good.
Yeah, that really was pretty good. Yeah, and gas was, needless to say, a lot cheaper than it is now. You weren't paying $4 a gallon for gas back in 1980. So, Glendora, let me ask you this, not to change the subject, but how's your spiritual life going, and what spiritual wisdom can you share with the viewers today?
Right here, folks. Selfishness, egotism, and me first are phonies. They promise you everything and they deliver nothing. And they're as phony as a little boy who woke up in the middle of the night screaming and thrashing and said, "The monsters, the monsters." His mother came along and turned on the light. There's no monsters. Well, they were here. No, they were not here. You thought they were here. So when you think bad things, you're just speculating. They don't really exist. And even if they do exist, you think about good things. You don't have to think about bad things. You're in charge of your own thought. You think about good things. And then the next thing you do after a while is you do everything your conscience says. And you don't do anything your conscience doesn't say. And you know where that makes you, Drew? That makes you without guilt, because you can stand before your conscience and said, "I did it. I did everything you told me to do. And I didn't ever do anything you told me not to do." And once you get rid of the guilt, honey, you have freedom. You're free of guilt. And now you stand before your conscience and you feel like nothing bad is going to happen to you. Do you follow me, Drew?
Absolutely. Absolutely. You put on the full armor to repel the wickedness.
Yes, you do. That's good for you. That came right out of the Romans. Yes, that's very good. And
The breastplate of righteousness.
very good. And then you do that for a little while, and pretty soon you find out the truth that love is God. You've always wanted to know who God was, and God was so big you couldn't get your arms around God. But now you find out that God is love. And you say, well, how do I know what love is? Everybody knows who love is since you've been in your mother's arms. And you know this very moment, whether I'm loving you or whether I'm loving myself. Everybody knows what love is.
Yeah, that's words of wisdom, Glendora.
And
It's amazing when you boil it down in those terms, how simple that approach can be too, because it's a filter that everything passes through.
you said it. You said it, Drew. You said it very well.
Yeah, so
And the next thing, Drew, is to realize that there's only God. There's nothing but God love. And you can say, well, I believe in the devil and I believe in bad. Okay, I wouldn't do that. But if you want to believe in it, you don't have to think about it. You can still spend your time thinking good and doing good. You
right.
don't have to think. Just think about good things. Another thing I wanted to tell you is that you realize that that God is the only thing there is, and you exist, Drew. Therefore, you have to be some of God. We all have to be some of God. There's nothing else we can be. And so you're not the identity that you think you are, that other people think you are. That's not your identity. Your identity is some of God, a child of God. That you're big stuff. And then we all have the same job in life, and that's to create. And that's what all God is about, is creating. And our job is to keep the universe, to make it go and grow and grow, and that's the way it's been for billions of years. And you're a spirit, so you're around for a few years and then you recycle, but actually your spirit never dies. Never. You've been around forever, and you're always going to be around forever. The real you, the spirit of you, is going to be around forever.
Yeah, that's definitely comforting words, I guess, in a sense too, because our time on this earth is fleeting.
Yes, it is. Veganism, you can't make it unless you are vegan, because you can't be cruel to those little animals and think that God is going to let you go with that. You can't get by with cruelty, honey.
Yeah. Well, that you certainly are testimony to it, Glendora. You're a pretty darn well preserved at your age, that's for sure.
95. 95.
Yeah, we can only hope to have and you're it's amazing, Glendora. You seem as sharp as ever today.
Well, you know something, I don't feel any different. In fact, I feel better.
Yeah, you sound great. You look great, and I'm glad Amy got us where we can hear each other as well as we have. We got as good a connection as ever.
I can say the same about you, Drew Wilson.
Yeah, well, I've been trying. I gotta find a little more time for to enjoy the summer before it's all gone. I keep reminding myself of that.
Yeah, right.
Hopefully we get a longer fall this year than we did last year. I didn't think we got much of a fall last year, but the weather here, when it's not raining like a monsoon, has been pretty darn nice here the past few months.
Yes, sure.
You want to hear something silly?
Yeah.
They put up a sign for Spirit of Halloween already in Price Chopper Plaza.
No, Halloween
And I was like,
already?
it's not,
Oh
yeah,
my
and I was like, it's not
gosh.
even August, guys. Jeez.
I know that's kind of Halloween. Yeah, today's July 19th. Halloween, that's a little much. I
Well,
don't know.
remember the little boy who woke up in the middle of the night, trashing and crying. There are no monsters. You turn on the light, you see there's no monsters. It's a figment of your imagination, and
Yeah.
you don't have to think about monsters. They don't exist.
Yeah, a lot of people call that borrowing trouble. I mean, life presents enough challenges without borrowing any more new ones.
Okay, how about some jokes,
I was
honey?
just going to say, Glendora, it's only fitting that we have a round of good Glendora jokes there for sure.
The sign in the restaurant window said, "Don't make fun of our coffee. Someday you'll be old and weak too." And the little girl says, "Mommy, is it true I come from dust and return to dust?" And Mommy said, "Yes." The little girl says, "Well, I just looked under the couch and somebody is coming or going." And the man called the airlines and he says, "I want to make a reservation from San Diego to Mishawaka, Indiana." And the clerk says, "Well, how do you spell Mishawaka?" And the man says, "Never mind, South Bend is close enough." The football coach said to the math teacher, "You have to pass our star player or we're not going to win the tournament." And the math teacher says, "But he said 5 times 7 is 33." And the coach says, "So he missed it by one."
Oh,
And
that's a good. I like that one. That was a good one. So he missed it by one. Oh
and
no.
it was during halftime, and the referee looked up into the bleachers and saw a woman being carried out on a stretcher. And the referee said to the coach, "Heart attack?" And the coach says, "No, you called one right for a change, and she fainted."
Oh no.
What
Lawyers
else?
and sports referees. Those are good ones. I love
Yes.
the one about the lawyer, Glendora. How about that one you told me before about the lawyer and the 2 questions?
Can you tell it, honey? You want me to tell it, or can you tell
You
it?
know, your delivery is so much better than mine ever is.
After 95 years, yeah. Well, the lawyer says, "Okay, I'll take your case on a retainer basis. That will cost you $3,000, and you're entitled to 2 questions." And the client says, $3,000, 2 questions. Isn't that expensive? The lawyer says, "What's your second question?" How about the
Oh, that's
lawyer?
great.
How about the lawyer who said to the judge, "I want a new trial on the basis of new evidence"? And the judge says, "What's the new evidence?" The lawyer says, "I just found out my client has another $10,000.
Oh no, it's just too true though. That's what's so funny about it. It's just so true.
Yeah. Can you think of any more, Amy?
That's why
What
you
about the
went
one
pro
with,
se. That's why you had to go pro se, Glendora.
Absolutely, and one. And the decision was Cablevision took my show off the TV because they were protecting the supervisor of Long Island. And the court ruled plaintiff has a statutory right to be on television and must be returned to television. So they never tried that again. But just alone and lawyers.
The bat phone's ringing off the hook today, Glendora.
yeah,
Hello.
I think she,
Hello.
That's a lawyer calling up.
Hello. Hello.
I think
All
that's
right.
some lawyer that thinks he's on retainer, Glendora.
Yes.
They figured
What about the
you're gonna,
lady?
PayPal him some money or something.
The little old man and the little old woman were summoned to court because she sold a can of peaches. The judge says, how many peaches in the can? And the little old lady said, 6. And the judge says, you are hereby sentenced to 6 days in jail, 1 day for each peach. And the little old man says, well, can I say something? And the judge says, be brief. And the little old man said, she also stole a can of peas.
Yeah. He figured she had a little more time to do.
Yeah, she had a little more, few days more in jail. Yeah.
Oh, Glendora, you're the best. Hey, we're running out of time here, but we got to catch up again. I'm glad I caught you today. This was sort of impromptu today.
Everybody in Drew's audience, I'd like to know if there's anything that I can do for you. Please ask Drew, and we'll try to bring it about.
And we got that email from Victoria, so we should be getting drop boxes of the new shows down here, and we look forward to seeing you on that. And thank you so much. Thank you, Amy. Thank you, Glendora, as always.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
good times.
You're welcome.
Well, Drew, you're a good thespian. Thank you, dear.
Oh, you bring out the best in everybody, Glendora. That's what we love about you.
Oh, what a statement that is, honey. That's what we all should do, right?
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Glendora, and appreciate you. And we'll have to catch up. This was episode 7, and we'll have to do episode 8 here not before too long here.
Grace and peace, honey.
Right back at you, Glendora. Thank you so much, and thank you, Amy.
You're welcome.
Bye-bye.
And make sure we have Miss Kitty on board for the next installment, because she's box office.
Okay, dear. Yeah, you're right about that. Bye-bye.
Love you, Glendora. Thank you.